only to find that Emily had sent him a letter again. Shin came to talk to Jake with the claimed documents and expressed that she would pay for him. After all, this was caused by her. But Jake quickly said no. He felt guilty for hurting another man's wife, so he believed he must pay the full compensation to atone. Shin deeply regretted. To make up for her mistake, she wished to apologize to Emily. Jake said it was too late to apologize now, since Emily had already ended it with him. Shin felt embarrassed and clueless after that. When she got home, she took out the photos and the documents to face her husband. She said she knew he had been watching her. She also knew about his claim against Jake. Are you preparing for divorce? Sakura questioned, tears up and apologizes to Zen. He says he has his reasons for this. Let's start with Toru's ex. When he dated his ex, they caught each other 3 times a day. They would kiss each other over 10 times daily. They also celebrated 2 to 3 anniversaries every month. But he was stumped despite being bold. His ex said Toru's love was overwhelmingly heavy. Since then, he no longer dared to show his true self. He wanted to know her true feelings but feared asking. So when he saw Zen losing her smile, he deeply wanted to know why. But he feared being disliked by Zen, so he didn't ask her outright. When Zen decided to rent an apartment outside, he was extremely worried but didn't ask, so he resorted to installing a monitor in Zen's apartment. I'm sorry. Zen shook her head, saying she must apologize to her husband. In fact, she had always felt lonely. Her husband was often gone, leaving her home alone. She felt the absence of love, and she slowly felt less valued by her husband. She felt she mattered less and less to him. That's why she thought about renting an apartment to test her husband's feelings. But her husband surprisingly wasn't mad. This only reinforced her belief that he no longer cared for her. At that moment, she met her neighbor, Tio. Seeing Jake and his girlfriend still use letters for romance, this simple happiness made her envious. So she got closer to Jake. She shared feelings she couldn't show her husband. She vented everything onto Jake. She did this to feel her husband's love for her. But even when her husband learned of her affair with Jake, he pretended to forgive her without a care. Sakura quickly explained. He was just scared that Zen would leave him. That's why he cared to Zen's every whim. He thought Zen wanted him not to interfere too much. Shin shook her head. She said she rented an apartment to avoid feeling dissatisfied. She wanted Sakura to experience the isolation of a big empty house, but Sakura smiled. They both struggled to show their true feelings. They embraced after clearing up the misunderstanding. You two have made up this time. But you've also broken someone else. After the split, Emily returned home. She told her 2 best friends about the breakup. Her friends hugged her tightly and cried. Later, Emily took out her letters to Jake. She read each one for the last time before burning them all. This was her goodbye to a painful first love and a scoundrel. Ever since Jake received Emily's final letter, she feared opening them. The letter that was annoying him was now invaluable. He knew that once he opened this letter, it meant a complete goodbye to Emily. But he wasn't ready to say goodbye yet. He lost track of time. Jake finally gathered the courage to open Emily's letter. Unexpectedly, Emily didn't mention anything about the breakup in the letter. Instead, as usual, she calmly shared her daily life with Jake. At the letter said, Emily simply sent a brief blessing. After the letter, Jake broke into tears. He saw Emily had moved on. She had started her new life. From then on, Jake and Emily had no further contact. Soon after, Sakura and Zen approached Jake to talk about emotional damage pay. Sakura first sought 2 million yen from Jake. But considering Zen's shared responsibility, he finally asked Jake for 1 million yen. Jake readily accepted without objection. However, Sakura had another request. He hoped Jake would only repay 20 yen each month. It would take 50 months to pay off. Jake wanted to pay it off quickly, but Sakura pushed for payments in parts, as he wanted Jake to deeply reflect on his mistakes. He then put a necklace around Jake's neck. He agreed to take it back when she would pay her debt. Jake could only agree. From then on, Jake would meet Sakura monthly to pay off her debt. While repaying, Jake wrote self-reflective letters to Emily daily. As 4 years passed, Jake finally repaid 1 million yen. Sakura took back the necklace. During these 4 years, Jake regretted hurting Emily and Zen every day. Sakura admitted it was only Jake who was punished. He was once punished for not communicating well with Zen. He suffered from infidelity as well. But now their punishments have ended. He also has Jake to thank for caring, as she helped him rebuild trust with Zen. In the end, Sakura wanted to take Jake to see Zen and their child, but Jake politely declined due to shame. 4 more years passed. Jake's classmates were all making progress. The popular guy has a new girlfriend. Mina became a new mother. After attending a classmate's wedding, Jake was on her way home, when she saw pregnant Emily by surprise, her husband shopping joyfully. Jake felt overwhelmed. It seems everyone is moving forward. Only he remains stagnant. At that moment, Jake decides to start a new life. He left his home of 8 years. Tama 100. A little girl approaches to greet him. She says her home is next to Jake's. Jake gives her a candy as a greeting gift. The girl innocently puts the candy in her mouth. But you shouldn't take candy from strangers.
But you're not a stranger. You're my neighbor.
Oh, busy. From then on, She waits for Jake to finish work at the park every day. Then they head home. Jake worries about cars hitting her. He always reminds her to walk inside, but the girl extends her hand for him to hold. This way, he doesn't have to worry. As they reach the first floor, the girl suddenly asks why Jake isn't married yet. Jake replies that he cannot forget someone. The girl suddenly jumps in front of Jake. She waits him to pull her in. When I grow up, I'll marry you. Was home. Girl introduces the handsome uncle next door to her mom. She doesn't know Jake's name, so she always refers to him this way. She spoke seriously to her mom, planned to marry the handsome guy when I'm older. Her mom told her not to speak such things lightly. The camera zooms out. The girl's mom is actually Zaina. The girl wasn't just saying it. She seems set on the handsome guy. He is to be her future husband. Sakura smiled and said, if the handsome guy isn't a strange person, it's fine if my daughter likes him. But this handsome guy is liked by the 7-year-old girl. He might find that a bit troubling.
Is it true?
I'll make sure my daughter's first love succeeds.
After the girl returned to her room, she pressed her ear against the wall as usual to listen to Little King's sounds next door. After a bit, Little King heard knocking from next door. Curious, he leaned closer to the wall. After a few knocks from the other side, Little King also reached out. As for whether he knocked back, this open-ended conclusion is left for your imagination.